Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to do an Elliott Waves analysis in a very short time on XCN. But before that, I need to tell you that in the mid to long term, the overall possibility looks absolutely bullish and fantastic. Why? What do we have off of the lowest low down here? Clear cut 5-wave up into a wave 1, followed by an ABC flat into wave 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave up into a larger degree wave 3. And I'm guessing this was most likely a correction into our wave 4, and right now we are building the bullish setup for a very strong move up, potentially having actually an extension into our wave 5. And what do I mean by extension? You see, the concept of extension suggests between either our wave 1 or 3 and 5 is actually mostly between wave 3 and 5. One of these waves are going to get extremely extended. Now, which one is it going to be? We cannot really say anything for sure. We need to just take everything step by step. But based on experience, in a stock market, usually wave 3 has a habit of getting extended. However, in crypto and also commodity market, the story is kind of different, and we are seeing in most cases extensions into our wave 5. And if this is going to happen to XCN, then okay, you are in for something very special, and the structures do sort of kind of suggest that. You see, let's go on maybe H4 time frame. There we go. I think this is a very strong 5-wave up into wave 1, followed by that this whole move right now, let's say to about this point, is a correction into our wave 2. And what's next? If this count is happening, we're going to get a very strong move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And that brings me to the short-term price action and what is going on specifically in terms of Elliott Waves. Let's talk about actually the bearish count first. You see, in XCN, the bearish scenario suggests that we are having from this point to about this high an ABC in form of a zigzag structure. Now, here's a very important point. Right now, this scenario is not confirmed yet, but again, we have to be objective at any given moment. So in case something that we don't really expect happens, we're not going to be necessarily surprised at all. Now, if this is going to be an ABC, then okay, from the current point, we are going to probably see something like this, maybe a short-term consolidation, and followed by that, a very strong move on the downside. And this is the key, pay attention. The moment that in this move, we take this important slow down here about, let's say, 1.35 cents. At that point, finding a 5-wave from here to about this high is going to be very challenging. And we're going to say, you know what, this was actually an ABC structure and not an impulse. And it means, well, unfortunately, our move down in XCN is not over yet. And we are going to continue this move down in order to take the lowest slow down here about 1.2 cents. But we are probably not going to stop there. Why is that? You see, all the way down here, when this move up happened, it was a little bit too fast, and as a result of it, we did create a very important gap. And I'm going to be honest with you right now, when we were down here, I fully expected XCN to continue this move down and reach to about this level and basically get it over with, and then from here we get like a very strong bounce back. But again, that did simply not happen, and I was absolutely wrong. But I'm telling you, if the next time we go down and we take this low, then I think makes perfect sense to argue the next target is going to be all the way down here about, let's say, 0.9 of a cent. Is it going to be such a bad sign? I don't really think so, because overall, even in that scenario, we are still going to remain optimistic and say this is 1, this is 2, and we can still expect a sharp move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. Now, let's zoom in more and see what is happening. Okay, you see, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, in XCN, this move down so far can be just simply interpreted as a retest of this very important level. And if this is the case, then what we want to see is a continuation of the move up in order to take this side. Also, in terms of Elliott Waves, for this specific move down itself, I think we can say maybe it is going to be like an ABC or like a WXY in form of a double zigzag, generally some sort of a correction. And this is the key, this scenario will get confirmed the moment that we get a move up in order to take this important high up here about, let's say, 1.99 cents. If we do it, at that point, we need to count on a much more bullish count playing out. Why do I say a much more bullish count? That is because, as you can see at the moment, we are clearly having overlapping of the waves between this move down and also this move. And while sure, we can argue maybe this is going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in form of an expanding leading diag. However, you want to remember having some sort of a diagonal shouldn't really be anybody's base case. No, in fact, odds of those structures happening are really not that high, and that brings me to the most bullish case in XCN, and maybe this is going to be just a setup for a very strong move up in the short term, let's say like in the next 2-3 weeks. Now, this scenario suggests from this point to about here, we still absolutely have a 5 wave up, but now it's going to be into a wave 1, followed by, let's say sure, an ABC into wave 2, and what's next? You know what? A strong move into wave 3 and 4 and 5, and on a higher degree, this white 5 wave, it's going to be into this wave 3, and what's next? You know the answer, so on and so forth. If this is happening, then okay, in the next 2-3 weeks in XCN, we are probably going to see maybe like 2, even 300% move on the upside, and I do think this may end up happening because overall and on some higher degrees, this move up is going to be into what? A larger degree wave 3, and one very important characteristic of that is what? You know what? Being a rather strong move on the upside. So in XCN, basically at the moment, we are in a crossroad. Are we going to get a rather strong move down without a lot of overlapping of the waves in order to take this low or not? Because if we do it, that means the bearish scenario just in like very short term is in play, and our move down unfortunately is not over. On the other hand, are we going to get from these areas a very strong bounce back in order to take this important high, which will ultimately confirm that we are having some sort of a bullish scenario? And in that case, my primary scenario suggests these are a series of 1-2s, meaning probably exciting times are going to be ahead of us for ONYX coin. Now, finally, what is going on in terms of indicators? Let's zoom in more. Excuse me, there we go. So as you can see in MACD, we are still unfortunately having a sell signal, which is definitely not a good sign. But in stock RSI, this is a confirmed buy signal, and it happened around the oversold region, meaning this signal actually has quite a bit of validity. Now, here's a very important point. I think at the moment, if you just want to go according to indicators on weekly time frame, it's a little bit soon to be extremely bullish. I think you need to wait just a little bit more in order to have buy signals in these two indicators at the same time. And I promise you at that point, we are going to be bullish with like much more confidence. Now, in daily time frame, on the other hand, well, okay, this isn't necessarily looking optimistic. Why? Because now we are having confirmed sell signals in MACD and stock RSI at the same time, which means, well, okay, maybe in the short term we are going to get a move down. And honestly, I don't really have anything against that scenario as long as we are not taking the lows in here about 1.3 cents. Even if we get like a move down in order to go around these areas and then we get a bounce back, even in that situation, you are going to see me remaining very much optimistic in XCN and calling for some strong moves on the upside. So overall, in ONYX coin, let me just repeat that again. I do not believe that we are having anything to be worried about, and the setup for the mid to long term looks extremely bullish, and I do fully believe this is 1, this is 2, a strong 5 wave into wave 3, correction for 4, and what's next in the midterm? You know what? Another very beautiful move up into wave 5. And again, if this is going to be extended, then you are going to see some serious fireworks in the next, let's say, 6 months to about a year. What we talked about in today's update and the fact that we said we are basically in a crossroad is just for like short-term price action, and even that can be up for debate whether we are, for example, bearish or bullish. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ONYX coin. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.